Hello and good morning to you. This is Cliff Graves from Trainwell Boxing. I hope all you are well. Thank you for joining me on this beautiful, glorious weekend we are having. Yesterday we went to Teignmouth, which is on the southwest coast. Absolutely beautiful. I go to a 24-hour gym. And I like to get in there when nobody else is in there. And it's a big gym. It's a big gym. And I had the whole of the gym to myself earlier today. So I went for my workout at 2 o'clock in the morning. Oh, yeah. So I do look a bit tired. Still got my dressing gown on, but you'll have to excuse me. Need a shave. But you're only here for the information and the knowledge, aren't you? So, yeah, I like it because it's ingrained in me, because you do your training, you come back home, you go to sleep, which is good. You get up, have something to eat, which I have had, and everything's hunky-dory. So I wanted to talk to you about people saying, look, there's a cut-off point when you're wanting to weight train, utilizing specific exercises. It matters tiddly boo. Let's take the chest. The chest's primary, pectorals, primary goal, primary movement is to adduct, and then abduct, and abduct the arm. So any movement that simulates that movement, right, they are saying is sufficient, because a muscle only knows how to contract and then lengthen. In this case, contract, lengthen the pectorals, contracting, lengthening, right? And that a muscle doesn't understand whether you're lifting 100 kilos of feathers or 100 kilos of iron. But look, that's not strictly true. Because if you just stay on this example of exercising the pectorals, the old favorite is with the dumbbells. And a lot of people will slightly incline the bench on a bench. They'll slightly incline a bench because it does take pressure off the front deltoid. And they'll pump away with dumbbells and they will perform this movement. Abduction with the dumbbells whilst they're lying on the bench, the weight training bench. But you see, when you analyze it further and you actually look at the strength curve, which is like a sort of bell-shaped type of thing, where it builds up, the intensity, the effort builds up until it gets to that top part, which, if say we're doing it with, say, 230 kilogram dumbbells, at the top part, which is literally just going past the sticking points, so sort of halfway with dumbbells, until you get to there, then it gets easier, and then it drops out, and then it's easy, harder. That is the strength curve on dumbbells. Then you have machines which attempt to be more constant tension, as in the case of a pec fly, or the newer ones where they have it like this, which I don't like, because you're leaving, look at that gap you're leaving of adduction. You want to get it so it comes right in, the old-fashioned pec decks. So yeah, I dig all of that, okay. But you have to look at where you are strongest in a specific exercise. Continuing with our chest press example, if you're coming out here, you're strongest there, aren't you? Literally the last eighth of the exercise into extension, aren't you? If you was doing a partial repetition and somebody was able to hand you two dumbbells, two people, one my dumbbell, you know that, all that safety bit. From here, and you just pressed it up the last quarter bit, you could press those 250-kilogram dumbbells. But you wouldn't be able to press it if your limit is, say, what I said, the 30 kilograms for reps. You wouldn't be able to press it from here, would you? So you have to have something where it's hardest at the end of the movement, this movement. And what lends it fantastically to intensive exercise is cables. Because the very nature of what you're doing, you're now out in full extension with two cables in between a typical cable column, right? And as you're pressing out, you're going through the strength curve, but the intensity is building up until you get to the end bit. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? That is the most intensive part. And then obviously the eccentric, but it's depleting. It's getting easier and easier and easier and easier. So in answer to your question, there are different ways and there are better ways of training. There are better exercises and there are better ways to train those specific exercises. Continuing on just for a little bit more, if you don't mind, with our example of the dumbbell chest press, right? You think that that's pretty good, right? Because you're able to adduct and abduct, abduct, taking away from the midline. The spine is classified as your midline, taking away, abduct, kidnap, take away from midline. When you have a bench press, you are locked into this position, holding the barbell, aren't you? You press out, you go back out, and you come back. Yes, you are getting a magnificent, put my teeth back in, a magnificent stretch on the pectorals, on the eccentric of a bench press. Yes, you are. And as you press back, yes, there is limited abduction, but not to the extent of true abduction right the way in towards the midline. Adduction, rather. Adduction is towards the spine, towards the midline. That is true adduction to make an exercise more effective. So yes, there are different exercises that are better, that can be trained more safely and more intensively. So forget all the rubbish of what people say to, no, just pick up a heavy barbell. Am I saying that you're not going to get effect from pushing a heavy barbell? I haven't said that, have I? I haven't said that. And if you've been listening studiously to this video, you'll know that I haven't said that. And I'm not saying that. And it is a good power exercise. But if your intention is to strengthen a particular muscle group, such as the pectorals, the bench press fails in my current belief. In my current belief, it fails. It also has a lot of front deltoid and tricep involved in it. And there are inherent risks of all sorts of injuries happening and occurring with ultra heavy bench press. So what is what I'm trying to get at here? What am I trying to tell you? That yes, there are better exercises out there and there are better ways of doing those exercises. So let me tell you now, we've been going 10 minutes, just over 10 minutes. Let me tell you now, right, let me tell you now of an exercise which isn't new. It isn't new, but it's what the blinkers finally have come off. And I'm 60 now. And I've been doing this weight training for 40 years, probably longer, probably something like 42 odd years. And the blinkers are off. And I thought, all those years that I basically just left on the table. So I'm presuming you go to a commercial gym, because for this specific bit of apparatus, I'm doubtful you could have it in your garage. Well, you could, but there wouldn't be much room for much else. You could have it in there when you think the size of a car. So you could have it in there. It's the hack squat. Now, again, I can hear all you lot saying, yeah, but what about the hailed back squat, the king of kings exercise, and to a lesser extent, deadlift, specifically stiff-legged deadlift, will work the back of the posterior chain, your hamstrings, hard, tug them hard, yes. Well, look, the back squat is a great exercise, but it's also an exercise that comes with inherent risks. I'm sorry if I'm coming across, oh, who do I think I am? But it does come with inherent risks. As you start to increase the weight and a back squat, you've been going to the gym about 6 months and you're thinking to yourself, I'm ready now to get into some guttural, because I come from the street. I'm a street boy. I come from spit and sawdust gyms. I don't like these flowery, whimsical gyms. I go to the spit and sawdust gyms, right? You want to get underneath the bar and you want to start doing some brutal back squatting. And what can happen is that even in a power cage, not power rack, power cage, the 360 bit, which has got the safety rails there, you can injure yourself. Because if the weight is too much for you, you've got the barbell over your back. As you descend down into the hole, and as you come up, specifically just out the hole, that's where the injuries can happen. And what can happen is, if it's too heavy for you, the barbell can very subtly, not like this, twist around like that, obviously, because you notice it, but just a little bit off. This is why they say you have to have a razor strong core. A razor strong core with back squats and deadlift. I think back squatting is more technical than a deadlift, because a deadlift you just say we just pick the thing up. But the same principle, we're looking at not techniques here, we're looking at principles. The same principle of that bar rotating as you are performing the exercise, just a little bit. If it's just a little bit, a centimeter off, as you're descending and that bar is rotating onto your stronger side. I'm right-handed, so my right side is more dominant. So if I'm going down into the hole with 100 kilograms, and the other week I was doing 85 kilograms, I've upped the weight quite considerably, haven't I? And now I am leaving everything on the table. You're that type of trainee where you want to push. You might say peanuts. Well, let's say 200 kilograms then. All right, well, let's say 300 kilograms on the bar. So it's challenging for you. When you're coming up, your exercise form is seriously compromised, my friend. Seriously compromised. Seriously. And what happens is, I'll tell you what happens is, the brunt of it, when it rotates just that little bit, and it's all it needs, the sacroiliac joint, which goes into the sacrum, it's that like an inverted triangle bit that goes into the pelvis in the sacrum area, is a joint. It's a nominate joint, which is called a nominate joint, which means no name joint. The little bits around there, they're so tenuous, the tendons, and you can put out of kilter the whole of your back because you have nudged out of alignment the sacroiliac joint. And let me tell you, it is painful. It is painful. You think you still haven't made your point. I'm explaining it fully to you, because if you're a professional fighter and your strength and conditioning coach gives you back squats to perform, and that thing happens, that what I've just explained to you, that injury happens, that's it. That seriously compromises, because as it goes up the spine, the intensity can increase up the spine, up into the lumbar region. You can start getting now almost prolapsed discs, which happened to me. My sacroiliac joint failed me because it's a very weak area anyway. And those thin elastic band tendons, if you look at any diagrams, you'll see what I mean. They will go on 100 kilograms, 200 kilograms, and most definitely on 300 kilograms, I can tell you. They'll ping as quick as anything. And then that sacroiliac joint is now unstable, and it will lock into place on one side or the other side to compensate, to try and protect the back, the lower back. But in a lot of cases, it won't, because it's been too seriously compromised. Did you understand what I'm saying to you? Do you understand what I'm trying to say to you? I hope he doesn't mind, but let's take Chris Eubank Jr. Now, millions lying on that fight that he successfully beat Conor Benn in. Millions lying on it. What do you suppose the promoters and the managers and everyone in Team Eubank would have thought if some jumped up little strength and conditioning trainer gave him 2 heavy back squats, and he did just that? He injured himself, because he wouldn't be able to fight with that. I'm telling you that. You wouldn't be able to fight with that. You'd run the risk of finishing your career completely. Well, what would you do? You'd say the fight's got to be delayed. The fight's got to be put off because of some idiot of a strength and conditioning coach. So yes, there are much more safer ways Now we're talking specifically about squats. Safer ways of doing your squats. And yeah, I only found that out this morning. Yeah. Enter in the reverse hack squat. Now, I'm not going to give you any demonstrations here. You've got to do your due diligence. Go onto YouTube, type in reverse hack squat, and you will see. And then go and try it out for yourself. And then all of a sudden, you'll be thinking, oh, well. Oh, wow. So with the hack squat that where I use, we've got the safety grips. You go in, okay. So, you know, I took my baseball cap off and my bins. That's age for you. Comes to us all. Hope it comes to you. So I got myself set into the apparatus in the appropriate way. I did have a weightlifting belt on, and down I went. And when I got to that near failure point, the bits, the safety hooks, handles, which you just turn like that because you're in like this, and your hands are like that, and your chest is not supported, but it's you're facing inward to the machine. You just click it round like that. So it doesn't matter if you're right down in the hole. It doesn't matter if you're just nearing the sticking point, or it doesn't matter if you're right up the top and you think, that's it, I want to finish. It's just a quick thing, click like that. And it goes into the safety catchers, the safety hooks. However, the intensity of it is phenomenal. I come from a boxing background, but I do like the rugby, and you can see that same conception with American football, with rugby, when they're in the scrum off, where they bang in like that, and they're forwards, aren't they? You know, like in the rugby scrum, they'll bend forwards, and it's group effort. You can't be a weakling. You've got to be able to be rucking, in a sense, isn't it? Within that scrum, there's no sort of, oh, don't hurt him. It's in. It's animalistic. And you're driving forward. Each one of you in that scrum, on your team that's in that scrum, are driving forward. Whether they're making that move to throw the ball out so the scrum off and get it, and bang, off goes the scrum off. What I'm trying to say to you is the beauty of the reverse hack squat is you're leaning forward into it, folks. And you are emulating, okay, you are emulating the scrum, that bang in because you're pushing. You could look at it even another way. It is like pushing a sled in the gym, but the only thing with the sled is you can't really load it up, not to the extent of what you can do with the reverse hack squat. It's different, and it's just got a concentric side to think of it, but it's the functionality thing of it. You've got to push a car. Say you've broken down and you're on a relatively busy-ish road, and you've got to push it into a lay-by, and no bugger's stopping to help you. So it's just you with your wife, which has happened to me, and you've got to push it, reverse steering, into the lay-by. Nobody stopped. but you had to get that vehicle out of the way to keep it safe for other road vehicle users. There's the leaning forward bit. There's the functionality of the reverse hack squat, and it is a little beauty, and I can feel it. Oh, I've felt it before in my legs, but I can feel it right at the top from my hips, right the way down to my knees, right the way across all of my quadriceps, not just the vastus laterus, all of the quads, the outside quad, the rectus femus, all the groin, all inside, the sartorius muscle, all of them, I can feel it. And I can also feel it in my buttocks and my hamstrings. And yeah, my lower back is absolutely flowing and fine. So there you have it, folks. Wow, I'm getting good at this, aren't I? I've almost eked it out to half an hour. There you have it, folks. There you have it. You can train muscles more effectively and safer with specific exercises. And I challenge you, next time you go to the gym, to try the reverse hack squat, because you will be converted there and then. You will never go back to front squats. I used to like the Zercher front squat. No. That is the thing now. That is what I am concentrating on. The reverse hack squat, because it is brilliant. Oh, it's brilliant. From the position of your feet to where your knees track out, to how you're able to utilize hip extension, to the comfort and protection of the pads across your shoulders, because they're great big pads, aren't they, on the Zercher squat machine, is phenomenal. Is phenomenal. So do your due diligence. Reverse hack squat. Find it here on YouTube. Okay, and try it out. You will be delighted. Okay, now I'm going to go and get my shorts on and get out there in the sun, get some nice sun, relax. I'm going to make myself a cold drink. And I hope you enjoy the sun, and I hope you have a good weekend. This is Cliff Graves from Train World Boxing. Speak to you another time. Keep safe. Ciao.